South Africa have lost the the second test against Australia, uh, quite significantly, of course. I stayed up for this game. I've been staying up for those games every night, trying to watch everything so that I can give you guys the best coverage of and reviews of this particular game. But we lost by an innings and 183 runs, I think it is. 182 runs we lost by. Ironic, guys. Ironic that on the that that the only thing that could have saved South Africa was Jesus in this Boxing Day test. Quite ironic. Um, this show is going to be very interactive with you guys. I think. I did a pretty good show yesterday and the day before, trying to highlight the shortcomings of South Africa, and I think that from this perspective, we need to maybe allow you guys to give us your say and how you're feeling currently, because I, I knew this was going to happen in a way. I kind of felt it that we were going to be in this predicament. I can see the reasons clearly because I'm thinking in reality, so I'm not thinking with my emotions. So for me, when you're picking batsmen, etc., and you're picking batters to play for your country, the criteria that you pick them on needs to be right. So yes, go watch my show yesterday and go watch my show the day before. I think I've covered basically everything that I think when it comes to this particular game. I mean, this is almost like a nothing show in a way because we knew we were going to lose. But there are some things that we can speak about and highlight, for example, that I will do after the break. But before we get going, before we get started, guys, a mosquito bit me everywhere. It's like, gee whiz, it's like irritating me everywhere. Everywhere on the worst part for you to get bitten by a mosquito is either on your foot or on your Achilles. I hate it. But anyway, if you're new to this channel and you haven't subscribed quite yet, please subscribe to this channel. Please click that notification bell for all future videos. The lines are open for you guys to call in on the show as well and give me your say, but I'll be reading out your live chats today. Please, if you see a panel show, by the way, guys, and you see me bringing on a panel, it's very difficult for me to get into the live chat. So please super chat us if you want us to see your comments if there is a panel on the show. Let's continue some of the things that I'd like you guys to do. Please download the latest issue of Cricket Fanatics magazine monthly. Every issue is 100% free. Straight to your inbox every month. Link is on the screen as well as in the description. And please become a Patreon to help us grow and promote South African cricket, and also help us grow this company and build. If you guys like this content and you want to keep us alive, then please get involved with the Patreon account. It's the one way we are trying. That is the only steady income currently that we have, that and YouTube at the moment. So please get involved with the Patreon account. YouTube isn't giving us that much, guys, for the amount of work. It's not related to work, the amount of work you put in ultimately. So it has nothing to do with how much you get paid from YouTube. It's all about the engagement and views. That's why I need you guys to obviously watch, like the video, share it with everybody as much as possible. Also, go to cricketfanaticsmag.com for all your regular updates. We've got features, we've got match reports, we've got all sorts of things on the site. Please get involved with that. Without further ado, let's get straight into today's video. Looking forward to this. Let's get straight into today's video. A very good evening and welcome. Again, I said it. It's like it's almost ingrained in my brain. A very good morning and welcome to Cricket Fanatics Magazine. This is your review daily show. I'm your host Khalid Moidin, and this is the show where we talk about everything that has to do with the second test between South Africa and Australia. It's a very early stream this morning. They've made my, as Sadiq says, say, Khalid, are you doing early? Then set timer. I see they have made your work earlier. Yeah, they made me work early this morning. I'm doing my show a little bit early this morning. And I'm obviously going to be bringing it to you. I'm obviously going to be bringing it to you a little earlier, discuss it a little bit. Let's see how long we can go with the stream. Let's talk about everything that happened in this match. Simple, it's bad batting. Stream done. Um, I have to say congratulations to TEMBA BAVUMA though. He batted really well, although I do have a but. The but is, why did he throw his wicket away? Like, I mean, okay, if it was me personally, okay, I can't say because I'll never be a Protea, but just let's just live in a fantasy land. If I was Timba Bavuma and I knew that the whole country and the world is on my back about scoring hundreds, at least put myself in a position, the best possible position to get that 100. Even if it was a not out, it would be positive for him because it will increase his average. So the shot he selected to play, I feel was pointless. I don't understand why he would do that. But in other words, he did well. In the rest of the 90% of the innings was great. Only 10% of the innings was a little bit poor. The runouts as well, getting involved with those runouts. I mean, when you looking down the barrel of a defeat the way we were, I think the players need to start to think more internally and be more selfish. I know that's a bad thing to maybe say in a team sport, but I think it's logical. I mean, if you're not going to win the match, you might as well do as best as possible. Do the best thing that you could possibly do to get yourself over the line, etc. To get yourself there, to get you get your best possible outcome of the match, which is obviously him getting 100 would have taken the pressure off him for hectically. I do believe that he is someone that I feel we need to build a team kind of not around, but I think he needs to be a focal point with regards to the future because I think he does create calmness at the crease. Calverena impressed me this series as well. I think considering all the bull that's happening around him, I think he performed pretty decently overall. So yeah, it is what it is. We South Africa lost. At least we got to the 200 run mark. That was at least cool. So let's get the first call on the show and hear what you have to say. Sadiq, welcome to the show, bro. What would you like to say?
Hello, good morning.
Morning, morning.
I see you are up early and working very hard.
Oh, it is what it is. Yeah, I've been up early. I've been up the entire match, so I've gotten up every single morning to watch it. If I don't, you see the difference is, right? Like I watch some journalists or maybe some content creators, etc. They will get the last session and then watch the highlights, etc. But for me personally, I feel like I'm doing you guys an injustice in a way if I don't watch it and actually speak about what I see. I mean, I could wake up, watch the highlights, and then let's talk about the highlights. But I think that is a bit weak, don't you think?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, you work very hard.
Thank you, thank you. I try my best. I try my best. There's a lot of other hard work, a lot of other people out there that work a lot harder, but I try my best. What would you like to say,
Yeah,
Sadiq?
I don't know. I mean, what should I say? It's been so long. I mean, in the T20 World Cup, we talked about this mess, and then now I don't know what to say. But yeah, at least we scored 200. We can say that.
Yeah, at least. I mean, it's gonna make the last test so difficult to watch. I mean, so difficult to watch. I mean, the pressure's all off. If they perform poorly in the third test, with all the pressure off them, we know we have a serious issue. We already have a serious issue, but then then we'll have a really serious issue. I'm hoping that in the third test, these guys will just go for it, and try and do the best that they possibly can.
No, no, no. I hope they don't. I hope they don't. I hate it saying that, but I hope they don't because I want changes. I know I mean, we know these selectors, they won't make changes if they are not forced to.
Mm. Yeah,
Yeah.
the selectors, I think they've been doing uh, like in certain areas. I feel okay, good, but in majority of the areas, I think bad. Like I mean, I've spoken about criteria when it comes to batting and picking players. Like it doesn't make logical sense to me at all that you can pick a player that that is struggling domestic cricket or doesn't score big runs in domestic cricket and then expect him to do it internationally. It's like asking, like I said yesterday, it's like taking any a driver off the street, of the normal street that has driven I-10 their whole life, and then putting them in an F1 car and then expecting them to perform, without training. That's almost like what it seems like to me, because you have the training of the technicalities of actually being able to drive, but to drive a F1 car is a whole different ball game. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
yeah, I
Yeah.
think
And
I think
I
if they
think
put it differently, we would have felt differently, because they made it, because South Africa made it kind of seem like this is our best 11 that we can possibly pick in South African cricket. I think that's what makes us a little bit more harsh on them. If they had to go with something that is a plan and tell us, you know what, we are going on a plan, we are testing, giving opportunities, we're going to test an 11 to see if they can go. I think we would have been a little bit more acceptant of a result like this. But because they portrayed this to be our best 11 and our best batting attack, I'm going to treat it like that and be harsh.
yeah, but I think we can also judge it in a way that they were in a race of World Test Championship before this series. So I mean, if we think like them, if we think in their position, it was hard for them to make a changes when they were in a race. So yeah, I mean, it will be interesting to see that what they will do in the next series. And talking about the top batters, I mean, the ABs, the Amlas, the Kailases, they all were picked early in their 20s. Some were even picked in their 90s. So I mean, so let's see what they do. But I think if they are not in the race now, which
Mm.
they are not, then they should make the changes and hope for the best with the new batters.
Yeah.
Interesting will be to know the comments about Dean Elgar and also the comments made by Dean Elgar. I mean, he has been talking way more.
Dean has always come across to me as an honest guy, someone that goes to press conferences and normally tells the truth. I'm not saying that he's lying, but his mentality was right. But I think the pressure on him to perform was obviously heavy. Now I look back again, back in the day. I mean, Dean always knew that he would. He's not the most talented cricketer. So if he knows, if the captain is not the most talented batter naturally, you need to put talented people around him. um, what made Dean so good in the past is that he had talented players around him that could kind of support him, could kind of take the pressure off him, allow him to play his natural style. And even when he's in form, it's not like he changes his style of cricket if he's in form. In fact, he gets more resilient if he's in form. He actually, when he's out of form, he looks a little bit more loose, in my opinion. So that opening partnership needs to be sorted out. I don't think the Cyril Earvier and Dean Alga opening partnership is working, despite the fact that they average 40 as a pair. I think the sample size is so small that the average looks a lot better, in my opinion. Um, but yeah, I think they need to sort out that. KP obviously injured all the time is not good. I mean, we need to sort that out. The number 3 spot that is solid, and at least have a number 3 that's in the background. I mean, Tienus de Bruin didn't look too bad. He didn't look too bad doing this, and I think maybe he deserves a little bit of an extended time to play for South Africa. We can't just give him two chances. And also communicate with him. Maybe talk to him. Um, and speak to him and let him know that okay, you are in our plans if he is in the plans. But let me get what is the positives that you've taken out of the Sadiq? Just so to end of your thoughts.
No, I think the positive can be Kyle Varane. He batted very well. He kept well as well. So yeah, he looks one positive. And other batter which I think did well or kind of well is Temba Bavuma. So I think I will pick basically only these two batters
Yeah.
in my next squad.
Yeah. I mean, I have to give props to Marco Jansen as well. He also batted pretty decently. I think his approach was pretty good. I think with training and with more experience and more game time, he's going to become a pretty decent batter, I feel.
Yeah, but do you think that he can be number seven in long term? I mean, with his height and with his bowling load as well.
I don't think I still think a number eight position is the best for him. But the problem is with that is that you lose a bowler if you're going to play him as the number eight.
Another
Um,
alternative can be play Vian Mulder at seven.
I mean, Vian Mulder is a good shout. He does need to score more runs domestically, though. I mean, like I said, it's
He
important.
did, I
It's
think.
important. It's important that players score big runs domestically and then get picked. I mean, in the past, that's how it worked. So and consistently score runs. I know he scored runs here and there, but we need him to consistently score. I always saw Vian Mulder as a batter first and bowler second, always in my lifetime. It's only when Curtis Gibson took over that he became a bowler first and a batter later. So it's strange. I want him to revert back to being a batter first.
He was a batter basically when he started for
Mm,
Lions in 2017. I think he was a batter who batted at five, and now he's
mm,
batting at six. I think so. Yeah,
yeah.
he can do that, replacing probably Lungi Ngedi. I think he looked lost. Lungi Ngedi. He does not seem like fit enough for the Test
Yes.
cricket.
Yeah, he doesn't seem very fit at the moment. I don't know what's going on with him. It was a period of time. I think during the I think it was during the India series or just before. There was a period of time he was looking very lean. You know.
Yeah. He looked lean, I guess, and then
Yeah,
he
and then
fa-
now, yeah, it seems like he's lost it a bit. But Sadiq, thanks a lot for calling in, brother. I always enjoy your points of view. I'll speak to you very soon. Let's get into the live chat and talk over here a little bit in the live chat and see what you guys have to say. Get involved with the super chat if you really want to donate. Nobody gave me a Christmas present. I feel bad, guys. Yo, that's bad. I know I don't celebrate Christmas, but yo, no, we were so close to getting 200. Well, we did get 200. Regini, we are 9 away from 200. Oh, you were commenting, wow. Well, we did it. We got 1000. Well done. 200. 1000. We got 200. Well done, lads. Um, the boys' new practice against Australia is now praying hardly, doing this guy's dirty. The boys, huh? I don't understand what you're saying there, bro. Hey Khalid, are you oh yeah, I've answered it already. 200. Here is an improvement. See, take it, huh? See, take it on bright side, we make 200. Yeah, well, yeah. On the bright side, we made 200. I honestly want to see Ngidi opening the next test. Poor batting performance again. At least we have maybe he can be the new night watchman. Poor batting performance again and again. Temba scored runs but got two players out. This team would lose against B team of Australia. Um, West Indies play better than us. It's shameful. Our batting has been really poor, but we beat the West Indies in West Indies. So they also made your job easy by losing within 3 to 4 days. Mostly, it actually makes my life harder. The reason it makes my life harder is because I have to now come up with ideas to do it. Come up with now fresh ideas at 7 o'clock to give you guys daily shows now. Because now we don't have the game to really speak about. When there's matches on, it's so much easier for me to come up with topics. It's when there's no cricket happening. That's when it's tough, guys, to come up with topics to talk about. Luckily, we've been doing it for for 3 years now, and we barely missed a particular episode. But yeah, it's interesting. We've I kind of have some days to recoup at least and to sleep. It's actually not as bad as I initially thought it would be. I think if it went to 5 days, both tests, I would be completely drained by now. I can handle this couple. I don't sleep much anyway, so I can handle this. This particular the way this games actually went and transpired. Enoch and Quay must do something with this team, get a proper coach, dissolve the top six, and get young batsmen who are hungry to play. Guys, I know he does. You're right. Enoch hasn't been long into the job yet. We can't expect him to click fingers and change things. I mean, Graham Smith had 2 years and he didn't. And what did he change? I mean, we still terrible. We lost the World Cup twice, got knocked out twice out of the World Cup when we were actually when we weren't deserved of being knocked out. Test championship. This is still his test team in a way, other than the guys that are injured. And it's still his selectors, and it's still Boucher and Graham selectors and mentality. So we can't really blame Mali. I don't blame Mali. What could he have possibly done to change these players' mentalities in a week, 2 weeks, whatever the case may be? Like Malibonga Maketa, I think, has the right attributes I think, and experience to take a fresh young team forward. If we gave him an experienced team, I feel like that a team that was like had all the experienced players, then in that aspect of the game, I think maybe we could find better, just purely based on his trophies won, etc. But if it's about building a young, fresh, new team and building their confidence and growing them as a unit, as a team coherently, I think he could be a good option. I don't know who's in the running for the coaching role, for the 4 day, for the for test coaching role, because we are going to split the coaching roles apparently according to Enoch. So we have a red ball coach and a white ball coach, which is waiting obviously for the announcement. This Australia tour I think this Australia tour came at I always thought that Boucher would be taking this Australia tour. So Enoch being appointed as DOC and Boucher leaving the job and post was something that happened quite quickly, and the turnaround was quite quick. So I feel that after this, we can start planning for the future after this particular test series. And I hope we properly rebuild. The problem is, after the West Indies series, there is no test cricket for us for over 8 months, I think. We already play so little 4-day cricket in South Africa. And now we're playing even less test cricket too. So Enoch has a very, very difficult job on his hand to find the best 4-day cricketers possible. In my opinion, he needs to pick the players, the batters that are scoring consistently big hundreds in domestic cricket. Those will have the best chances of scoring hundreds in international cricket. Simple logic. TEMBA played well, but he only delayed the inevitable result. The problem starts from the captain downward, and this should be reflected by CSA. If the top order doesn't do anything, nothing will happen. That's why I feel that BAVUMA is very valuable to our test team. T20 cricket, let's not go down that route. But with regards to test cricket, I think is very valuable. He saved South Africa or put on performances for South Africa when they're in trouble and saved us from embarrassment more than anything. WTC finals also gone. I wonder how many fans would bother wake up and watch the third test when the team has been outplayed badly. I don't think many did. To be honest with you, I didn't see Twitter as active as it normally is. I think people just accepted the inevitable. It's the festive period and people want to chill, so I don't think anybody is going to feel a certain way about this. Should forfeit the third test, Alga should announce his retirement. Gee whiz, that's harsh. Victor Impasang must go with Alga, says Louvel. And I like the energy. I like that the energy is coming towards Alga the same way that TEMBA got it. Because TEMBA was completely ridiculed. But you can see that the negativity against Alga is not even remotely as close to TEMBA BAVUMA. And he did equally as poor. Let's be honest. I know it's Test cricket and T20 cricket, but he did as equally as poor. So he's doing equally as poor since he's captain. He's averages 24 as captain, or 22 as captain, or 23 as 24. I think it's 24 as captain. So as a captain, he hasn't been good for South Africa, in my opinion. I even think that some of his field placements have been a little bit dodgy as well. Ngidi put in Ngidi put Ngidi to open problems solved. This is the biggest margin of defeat against Australia. So don't you think Markham should be batting at number 3, just like Cody, as his technique is tremendous, just needs some confidence. I love Markham. I think Markham should be captain of this team, of the future team going forward, in my opinion. Ishak Gua just asked Alga about our batting. His response, let's call a spade a spade. The inexperience killing us. Did he really say that now? Seriously? Wow. He's delusional. Okay, so because they spoke up, okay, they need to okay. My point is here they've been ambiguous with regards to that experience thing. So he's implying here probably test experience, but the way they spoke is that they have that they're picking on experience. So you can't on the one hand say you're picking on experience and then call your team inexperienced. It's like yes, they're obviously expecting us as fans and people and the public to be smarter about it and to obviously be a more be smarter about it and read between the lines. But as a captain, rather tell us the truth than send us on a whole belief trip that is incorrect, that is not actually what you think. Like you obviously knew this before this bloody series started. So if it's inexperience that kills you, then why still picking experience then? Then why say that you're picking because of experience and not pick the younger guys then if it's inexperience that killed you? Doesn't make sense to me. Because your inexperienced players played well, but actually, to be honest with you. Marco Jansen did well. With regards to Calvarena did well. So those inexperienced guys actually helped you. It's the seniority that stuffed the series up. The experienced domestic players, you yourself, Dean, not performing again. I know I'm being a little bit harsh and things, but let's call a spade a spade. You were terrible this series. You're not batting well since you were captain. You haven't been performing since you were captain. Perhaps you need to humble yourself and maybe step away from the captaincy. Just like everybody's asked TEMBA to step down from the T20 captaincy, which I agree with. I think the same thing needs to happen with Dean and the Test captaincy. I don't think he's the man to lead us forward. I think if he's at his best, if he's performing, playing his gritty self and doesn't have the worries of captaincy and he can just focus on his batting, that's when he'll be at his best, in my opinion. Graham Smith gave us SA20. Graham Smith gave us SA20. Okay. And he gave us SA20 when he wasn't director of cricket. Domingo and Kirsten resigned from their respective coaching gigs. Can we read anything into Domingo and Kirsten resigned from the Can we read anything into that since Enoch wants to split the... That will be amazing, in my opinion. I like Russell Domingo a lot, actually. I don't think he knows that. I like the way he spoke in press conferences, his confidence, the way he made people believe in themselves. I think he can do wonders with actually a younger team. I actually think that the seniority in the team was actually to his detriment in a way, because I feel he'll do better with a younger developing team, to be honest. And Kirsten as well. I think Kirsten is actually something that we need because he's a batting coach and a senior coach in one. I think he'll help our batters tremendously on to give ourselves the best chance, obviously, pick the players that are converting well in domestic cricket, and then he'll be able to help them transition into international cricket if he becomes the test coach. But if he becomes the white ball coach, then it's obviously a different story. Oh, my Lord. Thanks a lot for the super chat, Carl. That's excellent, bro. Hi, Khalid. Happy holidays. Similar to what you talked about, you think CSA should be brave and bring in young players early to the mid-20s immediately or make slow transition. Example, one new guy in the team. Is it time to sack Alga? Thank you so much for the super chat, bro. That I really appreciate it. That's excellent. Let me answer this question quickly. I just want to show your super chat actually on the screen. Sorry, so that everybody can read it. Hi, Khalid. Happy holidays. Similar to what you talked about. You think CSA should be brave and bring in young players early to mid 20s immediately? Okay, so for me, it's not just about the age. I want to be very clear on this. It's about, to me, it's about conversion rates. So I believe that conversion rates tell a massive story about a player and their ability to, their mental capacity. I think that the conversion rate tells you that the player is able to hold their own and be able to score big hundreds to convert, because I think scoring hundreds is a mental game more than a ability game. Because you can obviously see certain players like Sarel Ewe, for example, Tennis the Brain score massive hundreds in domestic cricket, but internationally they kind of struggled. And TEMBA BAVUMA as well, he scored big hundreds in domestic cricket, but he kind of struggled to score the hundreds in international cricket. So I think it's a lot to do with mentality. So even TEMBA, like I love TEMBA, and I think he's important to this team. Batting where he bats, not batting higher up, but batting where he bats. But even his conversion rate in Test cricket isn't that great. So in my opinion, I think they need to pick the best batters that have the best conversion rate over the last 3 years, and then grow the team. If they happen to be in their mid 20s, then it's better, because we get more out of them for a longer period of time. But I do think that picking experienced guys that don't have conversion rates over, or have low conversion rates over young guys that have good conversion rates is a terrible decision. So that's my answer to that question. And thanks a lot for the super chat, bro. Let's move on. Lorenzo, if only if what did Lorenzo say? Is that your comment from earlier, Lorenzo? I can't remember. Yeah. That's your comment about the coaches. Okay, cool, excellent. Yeah, I wish that could happen. Quick question, guys. If that had to happen, Russell Domingo and Kirsten, who do you think takes the white ball, and who do you think takes the red ball coaching role? Because in all fairness, in my opinion, I think we need Gary Kirsten more in Test cricket actually, because of his batting coachability. But his success has come in white ball cricket more. So let me know what you guys think about that one. It's an excellent question actually, to ask you guys, if I must say so myself. What did Aditya say that people are saying is well said? Markham is still better than all these in this team. Years of technique and anything. He just needs some support. But that's exactly my point. I think the way Aiden Markham has been managed has been very poor. Very, very poor. And he has performed even when the rest of the team has performed poorly. So I feel to make Aiden Markham the scapegoat was, yeah, I didn't like that at all. I kind of felt that he was a scapegoat. Yes, he performed poorly. Yes, he wasn't scoring runs. But in all honesty, has Sarel ever done any better than Aiden Markham? Let's just be 100% honest. Don't be surprised if you see little to no changes in the West Indies series. Khalid, have you heard Markham might be captain of both Sunrisers and Sunrisers Eastern Cape? Do you think that will affect his Test cricket game? I hope it doesn't. I want to see him back in Test cricket, and that's excellent that that it takes overseas people to identify as a captain. I think he should captain all formats, to be honest, for South Africa. And the reason is because maybe it's because I know him personally and I've spoken to him on many occasions and I understand how he thinks. But in my opinion, he's gone through, or in my observation, he's gone through a hell of a lot during his period for South Africa. Different eras too. He understands. The last time I spoke to him, off the record, I could sense that he wasn't happy with the general culture in the camp and the way things are amongst the team. And for him to identify that and feel a certain way, I think makes him very mature emotionally and very mature. Yeah, it makes him rational and emotional and what's the word I'm looking for? emotionally intelligent. That's what I'm looking for. So I think that he's the perfect age and buffer between the two generations because he's played with the ABs and AMLAs, but he's also played with the new generation. So I feel that he's the perfect buffer between the two eras. And I know for a fact that the young cricketers respect him. That's also very important. When these players walk into the dressing room and they look at Aiden, they're going to respect him for what he's achieved in South African cricket so far. That's also very, very important. You can't have the youngsters coming in and looking at the captain and being like, why must I listen to you? You can't even score runs yourself. Like, you know what I mean? My top six for the final test against Australia: Alga, Iavia, Tennis de Bruin, Bavuma, Klaasen, and Verena. Not that I think that they will necessarily be any better than what's gone before. Yeah, you see, that's an argument that I see. Oh, but are they going to do any better than what they're currently doing? To me, it's not about if they're going to do better or not. To me, it's more about who's going to learn more from the experience, who's going to gain more from the experience. And in my opinion, the mid 20s, 25, 20 to 25 is going to learn more than a 33-year-old in that period. There's a lot more bad habits formed when you're older. That's why I'm so pushing. I'm not an ageist because I believe that certain players that are older deserve to be in this team. For example, Peter Malan, based on his conversion rates and how he's been performing in domestic cricket, and also the fact that he scored a good 86 against a decent team, an English team. So it's not only about age. For me, it's about conversion rate. But if you look at it, if you look at the reality and see all the stats, you will see that the best conversion rates are coming from our younger players. That's why I'm pushing to pick younger players, because I feel that they can grow as a unit and develop. I'll give you an example. In football, we see teams do it. Germany did it in 2010. They picked a very young team and they grew that, they allowed that team to play against the best teams in the world and develop themselves. They played a good brand of football, developed themselves. They never made it to the finals, but they played exceptionally well and they excited people. The following World Cup, they won. So ultimately, that is the aim of building a team through a generation. It's the same with England. England had a 5-year plan for the World Cup. They started growing their team, trusting the players, and pushing through. What we do, I feel we almost are, we select on desperation in a way. We pick and choose when on desperation. I see, Kelly, you've joined the show, but your device is not connected. So can you please try to rejoin so that I can get your thoughts? It would be awesome. Chokers, South Africa choked again. I don't think they choked, bro. Do you know the definition of choking is? Ronan. Rohan Kohli. Or Rowan Kohli. How do I pronounce it? Or whatever. This is not choking. This is just poor performance. Choking is when the pressure, you can't handle the pressure and you end up losing the game like by a bare minimum. I think that's more choking. When the game's in your hands and you let it slip, that's actually choking. Choking is not when you perform poorly. Otherwise, then every single country that loses is choking then. There are lots of young, talented captains in SA. De Zorzi, Marcus Ackerman, Aiden, Markram, Verena, Reinhard van Tonde, Daniel Smith, Ryan Rickleton, Mulder, George van Heerden. But SA needs new. There are lots of... we need some more consistency from some of the guys you mentioned. Like Daniel Smith, for example. At the moment, I'm watching Daniel Smith bat. I've been watching. At first, I saw him when he was younger, and I thought, "Wow, excellent talent, excellent player against his own age group." Then I saw him make his debut for Western Province and play his first couple of games, and I was like, "Oh my god, it's amazing to watch him bat." I still enjoy watching him bat, but I do feel that he's very leg-sided. I think he needs to learn how to maybe open up his scoring options a little bit more on the offside. Me personally, from watching him play. Sir, his marking position would have not constantly changed and should have given number 3 role and backed him in all formats. He would have become Kohli of RSA. Yeah, if Spats, Goods, would have. These what it is. South Africa, the shameless cricket team, shameless, the chokers on 0 in front of Australia. Okay, bro. You just seem to be very, very negative all the time. If you have nothing good to say, then just don't say nothing, please. Um, we have talent. It's just when we give them chance. I think it's Kirsten. I think Kirsten takes the test dog as well. As we all know, he's family guy, and with us playing not too many tests, it was suiting. It's great logical deduction there, Lorenzo. Okay, let's get Kelly on the show. Welcome to the show. What would you like
Hi.
to say?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you perfectly. It's your debut on the show, right?
Okay, so I'm showing the background. Yeah, it's just the camera that's off. It's early, and I
Yeah,
haven't
that's
slept in
fine.
about 48 hours.
Yeah, me neither. So we are on the same planet here. Living in planet sleeplessness. Okay, what's your thoughts on this
Yeah,
particular match or series? I would say series because it's kind of done already. So what
yeah.
is your
Well, the
thought?
series was about as long as one match.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Like,
Did, did you pick any positives out of it at least?
um, it's I enjoyed the way Verena and Janssen batted, but that was you that it shows you really how unnecessary the weight is that people have been placing on experience, because
Yeah.
they essentially put on a clinic of how to apply a soft crease.
Yes. Because my point
And
my
yeah,
point on
and
experience is that's my point on experience because
yeah,
it's not only about experience. It has to be also about conversion rates.
yes,
But if people can't score big hundreds at domestic cricket, we can't expect them to do it against Stark and Berland and all of these guys and Cummins. Like they can't even do it against Tsepo Moreki, and Tsepo Moreki is a brilliant bowler, but he's a slower bowler. They can't even do it against the players in our domestic scene that are not necessarily at the international caliber. So that doesn't make logical sense to me. I don't know if you
like I
agree on
mean,
that.
I do. And the point is, now you've got guys. Look, it was probably too late for guys like Dazorzi, because his hot streak really started after the side was announced.
Yeah.
But somebody like Yanaman Milan has a central contract. I mean, they gave him that central contract this year. Then all of a sudden he's not going, but somebody like Tennis de Brain, who averages 19 in Test cricket after 12 tests, suddenly gets a second bite at the cherry.
Hmm.
And he hadn't exactly, lit the scene alight for the Titans last season. Grant McQuenna was their leading run scorer.
Hmm. That's true. No,
So
you
I really I
facts.
don't know how he snuck his way in there.
Yeah, you're talking facts. I can't really rebuttal that at all. Because I look at the likes of Tony DeZorzi, for example. I understand why, like you explained, I understand why maybe he didn't make the squad because his runs came at a point when the team was already selected. But I don't know why Dean Elgar says things like, "Oh, this is an opportunity for domestic cricketers to put up their hand for selection," and then Tony DeRosa scores 300, 167, and another 100, and then it means absolutely bugger all. So
Well,
I don't like.
I'd
Yeah,
hope that in this instance that it actually means that Tony DeZorzi will be in the side. Also, Klaasen scored almost 300 and didn't even play the warm-up game, not even when TEMBA couldn't bat. So, and I mean,
yeah,
Dean was the last one to make the 100.
I know. Yeah,
Up
I mean,
until the last game, he had no centuries.
yeah, I think it's. I looked at his 30 innings. I think it's 30 innings as captain. I think, and he averages 24. He has no hundreds. So
As skipper.
yeah, a skipper. So it's mental.
Yeah.
I mean, I was shocked by the fact that he suddenly can't he's almost lost his grit as captain because he's not playing the same way as we know it, and also he's getting dismissed the same way down leg side. Like every single time he gets
Yeah,
dismissed
there
exactly the
was
same.
that lazy village run out as well.
Yeah. So if I can
It
ask
was
you,
yeah.
Oh, sorry. Continue.
Sorry.
Sorry, that's
No,
my fault.
there's maybe just a slight overlap. You go ahead.
Okay, cool. I just wanted to ask you basically what you do for the next test. What would be your selection, or what would be your approach?
Like a lot of people are favoring the 6.65 instead of a 7.4 instead of a 6.5. But look, I'm on the fence about it. I hate the idea of using an extra batter just to, cover up cracks. I'd like it to be a decision made for conditions and for balance. Because if you've got a flat pitch, you're just going to make bowlers who are already tired work a lot harder. And that's another thing I noticed. The bowlers are tired because inevitably they've had to do a hell of a lot more work with the bat and with the ball this whole cycle.
Yeah, 100%. Kelly, I'm going to keep you on the line if you want to stay. I'm just going to bring on
Sure.
another caller. Okay, Stuart, welcome to the show, bro. You look tired as well. Wait,
Yeah,
bro,
to be honest.
we've sacrificed, eh? Gee whiz, these guys, like, I at least believe that KG and the boys can at least become patrons or something for all the support we're giving them. Gee whiz, they earn enough money. What's your thoughts, bro? What's your thoughts? Kelly's been spitting facts over here, by the way. So
No, I've been listening. I'm actually like, I'm in awe. I'm like, I'm just like taking notes.
Where have she been all this time? We needed a opinion.
Yeah, we need her on every show.
Yeah. Go ahead, Stuart.
You guys have been in a score box.
Yeah, of course. But tell me a little bit about that experience later. I would like to hear what that's like. But Stuart, yeah, your thoughts.
Yeah, you know what? We knew what the problem was going into the series. In a way, I almost feel relieved in a way that we've seen how bad our batting has been. I know how that sounds kind of weird and ridiculous to say, but I'm almost kind of glad now that we have failed quite a bit, because hopefully it gets the selectors to sit up and think, okay, what have we been doing wrong, and reflect on the selection policy. I mean, the other day when you look at Avia and Olga bat together, to me they look like the same batter, just with a different bat sponsor. I don't think they work well together as an opening pair at all. And I don't know. I think maybe Tony DeZorzi could come in, Jordan Herman, Joshua Richards, any of these younger guys could come in. And no, you need an aggressive, I don't want to say not an aggressive stroke player, but you need an opening batting pair to have different strengths if you want them to succeed. If you look at Herschel Gibbs and Graham Smith, or Herschel Gibbs and Gary Kirsten, and even if you look at, let's say, in an Australian context, David Warner and Rogers a few years ago, like they had different strengths. And I think it sets a wrong tone when our opening batsmen are coming in, and I get the impression that they're trying to survive the new ball instead of looking to score, which is a bit of a problem.
Excellent point. Because because every single batter that did well in this series so far, even from Australia's point of view, they attacked more. They played strokes. They weren't there to try and survive for 100 balls. David Warner for his 200, Travis Head, what's his name, Alex Carey. I think even to an extent, Calverena, especially in this particular innings. I mean, okay, TEMBA is the one that was more survival of the fittest type of vibe. But I just want to make a point on your calling for the youngsters. I'm gonna call to the audience. I just want to make a request that we'd be a little bit more patient with the guys that have only played their first season of 4-day cricket, because for us to know whether they are good enough or not, it's not going to take one season. I think it will take at least minimum 3 for us to see consistency. I mean, for example, with Tony DeZorzi, Tony started at the Titans. Did okay there. He scored a couple of hundreds, big hundreds there, but not consistently. In his 2 seasons there, or was it 1 season or 2 seasons there? I think he's been there 4 years or 5 years. I think he's been playing 4-day cricket now. He's
He spent time in semi-pro.
Yeah, I know he spent time in semi-pro, but I don't count that in all honesty, because
Yeah.
I think
No. And likewise, just Tony's habit is to, well, it was, and I hope it's not going to continue that way, is to have a good season, season on, season off.
Yeah. You see, for example, Kelly made a good point there. For example, KP. I am a big fan of KP's mentality. I'm a big fan of the person that he is. I'm a big fan of him. And I think he's a good batter as well. But I think there is a weakness there that they need to sort out. And if you look at his conversion rate as well, it's not necessarily that great. But also, he has on and off seasons more than... I think it's not really his conversion that's the problem, because he does score big hundreds. For me, it's more season on, season off. KP's been one of the most inconsistent batters, in my opinion, with regards to the guys that have been selected. He has a season and then drops. Then has a season, then drops. Then has a season, then drops. So I would like to see a little bit more consistency. For example, Reinhard van Tonde had 3 seasons on the bounce where he was really good. Now, the last season was a bit poor, and this season started off poorly, but he also never got an opportunity from the get-go. But then he went to go do the one thing that everybody's been asking him to do, and that's score 100 at Newlands in subcontinent, in less favorable conditions for himself, in a way you could say. What's the word I'm looking for now? I'm so tired, I can't even think.
Well, outside of Bloemfontein.
Yeah, but what is the word for it?
In the coastal slow wickets.
Coastal slow
Yeah.
wickets. There you go. So we've been waiting for him to do it. He scored a 16 Durban though, even though people were like, oh, he can't score runs. He scored a 16 Durban, but we want to see him score big hundreds. And I want to see that consistency. For example, Jordan Herman. I think he's an excellent batter and extremely talented, and I've interviewed him here. I like his mentality. But when you listen to the way he speaks, it's still very simple. I'm just going out there to have fun, I'm just trying to enjoy the game. It's all good when you're scoring big hundreds. I want to see what happens when he's struggling. Does he have the same mentality then? Does he still keep that, I just want to go out and have fun and play? So I want to see that maturity with regards to him. It's the same thing with Deva Previs. Deva needs to go play 4-day cricket. I don't understand why he's not playing for the Titans. It's bothering me because he's hungry to do so. Another player that I think is more likely to get a start or to get an opportunity for South Africa, I feel, is someone like Joshua Richards as an opener. I think that boy, the way he hates to lose his wicket. You must see his face when he loses his wicket. I noticed this at Kaimajolo week in 2018, 2017. No, it might have been earlier than that. 2016, 2017, I think it was the end of 2016. The guy lost his wicket on 97 or something like that. You had to see how upset he was. It meant so much to him, and he still is like that even when he plays for the Lions. He hates losing his wicket, and you need players like that in your team that are not laissez-faire about it. So he's now building himself and building his credibility. I think a guy like Mitch van Buren as well, building his credibility. I think there's some players, like obviously Tony de Zorzi. I think Zubair Hamza is coming back now, so let's see how he does in 4-day cricket. But Kelly, I wanted to ask you a question about this. We're playing too little 4-day cricket, though. Has there been talk about that around in your circles about
we've not been involved in the actual planning. We're just sort of we're tossed a few new playing conditions every season, and then the fixtures. I'm hoping that there'll be some sort of a restructure to allow for a home and away in the 4-day game instead of just the seven games. 7 games is not enough.
Yeah, it's not enough. What I actually want to ask you about is the club scene. How's the club scene there where you are?
Well, in Cape Town, it's with UCT, it's I live in Cape Town at the moment, but I'm from Port Elizabeth.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
So
I know about the club.
My original the club scene in PE was a bit, or Nelson Mandela Bay, because it includes Uitenhage and not Humansdorp, Uitenhage and Dispatch. It's not as strong as it is in Cape Town. But then actually Jono Bird plays for 1A is not even Prems in the Cape League. But I think that might be club loyalty. But yeah, I've got the students break because the UCT guys are off a bit longer than the others, which means I go back and score about 7 double headers on the bounce.
Jeez.
If my
Maybe
time
we should
allows for it.
Maybe we should bring the team with us and come say hi to you, so you're not so bored. So I
Yeah,
want to ask.
that depends because we've got the Women's World and Girls under 19 World Cup, and then the Women's World Cup as well. The Women's World Cup will be.
Are you scoring in that?
In town apparently? Well, we were just asked to indicate our availability, so I can't really. I can't say yet. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
But
and is it 20?
Yeah, there'll be a lot of cricket.
And is it 20? Are you involved there too?
I'll still be in Port Elizabeth while that's happening. So no.
Okay.
Because you can only belong to the one union.
Okay. Oh, I see. And with regards to club cricket, do you believe that we need club cricket for the future of
absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay, that's good.
And the players should actually play more, or they should play club cricket, as much and as early as possible.
100%.
Often it's helpful for them to develop, their ability against spin, because a lot of schoolboys aren't, they either don't start out as spinners, or they're not very good. You get a lot of wily old club spinners, especially on coastal pitches.
Yeah, true. I've seen some very, very loopy bowlers. Okay, so Stuart, let's get your final thoughts and then we can end off with Kelly.
Okay. To me, I think I like KP as the number 3. I think he's got a good technique, and I enjoyed watching him when he played against India, and I enjoyed watching him in the CSA 20 final versus the Titans. My biggest concern with Keegan Peterson is obviously his fitness, because he always seems to get injured at the wrong time. And he is at that 29 bordering 30. So, I know he can stick around for maybe 4 years, but I don't know if, how we can solve his fitness, and because we can't keep, just selecting replacements because he's getting injured. So I think that needs to be sorted out. I agree with you. Whatever young player we're selecting, I think the bare minimum in terms of a selection policy should be that you give them over, let's say, a run of 12 games in the team. On a consistent basis, playing in different conditions, to properly evaluate their performance. It's no use saying, oh, we're going to give someone let's say, Zabir Hamza to go on the team, and then he gets 2 matches here, then 2 matches there, and it's not doing his confidence any good. And then lastly, on the club cricket point you guys made, I completely agree that it's vital for the survival of cricket in South Africa. I think with the under-19s especially, it should be a thing that they have to play a certain amount of, let's say, 2 or 3 day games. I'm not sure if they still have tournaments like that. But I think it definitely should be a thing. And I think also, if you look at the fringe players for provinces, let's say then, I'll use someone like George Linda as an example for Western Province. Let's say he's not playing a certain amount of provincial games in the season. He should have to go play some club cricket to go how can I put it, almost be eligible to play for Western Province, because then he's going to go past his experience onto grassroots level, and it's going to make it stronger from that perspective. So
To be honest with you, there's Stuart, the Western Province team. That's why I was asking about your area. The Western Province team. I don't know what your players do, but I know the Western Province team. For example, Eddie Moore, George Linde, Calverainer, all of them. Janeman and them. They play club cricket when
They all play.
They all play.
Sorry,
They're very much involved. So that's why I'm saying over here it's pretty good that they do that. It's the Proteas players that I have an issue with. They don't really play much domestic cricket or club cricket when they have free time. And not all of them. No, Keshav is great. Keshav's brilliant. Yeah, Keshav's brilliant.
Well, I think guys like, from the Lions, I've heard guys like Reza Hendricks goes and plays quite a bit of club cricket, and I'm not sure who does and who doesn't, to be honest with you, from the union. But I know one of my coaches from high school played for the Strikers it was as a club side, and he was telling me that he used to bowl to Reza Hendricks quite a bit and some of the Lions players. So I think they are playing, but I think it should almost be like a mandatory thing, like in order to be eligible, you have to, across the board, you have to play a certain amount for a club in that region. Because then you'll get guys wanting to go play. Not just like, as you guys are saying with Cape Town or Western Province and Boland, like players want to go play. It should be across the board for all players. But anyways.
Okay, Kelly?
Well, my only caveat to that was I agree with it, but what happened a lot, this happened with the NMB league, is that when the Warriors players did play, the bowlers would play as batsmen, the seamers, just so that they weren't overbowled. Because what could happen is that you have a game that is directly after a List A fixture, for example, or after a short 4-day game that's finished in 3 days. So you just want to prevent that sort of fatigue.
Yeah, maybe with that you could almost say you obviously don't want to overbowl them, so maybe the unions could say, okay, like this bowler, take KG for example, the Lions bowls has to bowl a minimum of, let's say, 5 overs in a 1-day game, club game, if that makes sense, or maximum of 5 overs, sorry. But it is also difficult to manage that, and so
let's be honest, it's our batters that need to go play club cricket.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when KG plays for the Lions, it's franchise or provincial. I wouldn't suggest KG tie himself even further playing club at the moment.
Yeah.
No.
Because
KG doesn't even play
workload.
domestic cricket.
No, well, only Marco Jansen has. Marco Jansen has. He played, and then the spinners. That was quite impressive about Josh Richards, was how he played Simon Harmer in comparison to both Reza and even also in comparison to Rassie van der Dussen.
I'm a big fan of Josh Richards, massive fan. I like him.
He and Ryan Riggleton were both very good against Harmer.
Ryan is oh my God, Ryan would have scored hundreds against Australia. I'm telling you that now.
Yeah,
I'm telling you that now. But that's too late. I do have Dean Alger's press conference audio, but my laptop's about to die. Do you have time to sit and react to it? Because then I'll just get my charger quickly.
Yeah, sure.
Kelly, do you have? Okay, cool. I'm just gonna get my charger quickly.
I'd love to hear Justin Salmons say discipline is the reason again. Ill discipline. Every time.
Yeah, I don't really understand that experience comment, if I'm honest with you. I didn't see it. I just saw Lorenzo mentioned it in the chat, and I was I couldn't believe it, because the whole thing is we're selecting on experience, but then now we're inexperienced. So we're interesting to see what is actually said in the press conference.
Yeah, well, discipline should be the last thing lacking from any of those batsmen, considering how much first-class cricket they've played.
Yeah. Facts. Khalid, you muted.
Yeah, I think because that's maybe some consideration that some of them have when they think that, oh, you're playing for a lot of you've played a lot of games, so maybe complacency maybe won't be there as much, etc., etc., etc. But stats don't lie at the end of the day. So if you have 1100s and 45 50s, there's a serious problem there. As a top order batter, by the way, as an opener or as a number 3, if that's your conversion rate, I mean, how do you? This doesn't make any sense. We got another caller here that I'm just going to give them some chance to say a couple of things. Welcome to the show. What would you like to say?
Hey, Khalid.
Hey, how are you doing? You muted? Hello?
Hey, Khalid.
Hey, how's it?
Stuart and Kelly. I hope you guys are all right. I haven't slept either. I've actually just gone through the night. But I've been setting my alarm to wake up at 12 just to catch the game. And yeah, I'm not really a Proteas supporter, but I'm super interested in how each country sort of conducts their I guess you can call it succession planning. And one thing I've noticed, the first thing I thought while watching, especially today, when I saw the run out with the horrible one with BAVUMA, I was kind of wondering, when the Proteas speak about the leaders, what I wanted to ask, what values do you think the Proteas team looks for in a leader, and do you think it's reflected on the pitch, or is it just in press conferences? Because I've also heard Elgar, and he always talks a big game, which I really like. You don't want to go into a game feeling like, oh, I'm gonna lose.
Yeah.
But I don't really see that reflected in how the games turn out. Getting out leg side twice. It doesn't seem like the leadership is reflected in how the game is played. For example, just to give an example, when England says baseball, you can see that they actually do it.
Yeah.
I'm not
You're right.
seeing what the Proteas strategy is on the field. What kind of leadership is it?
Because I mean, when Boucher was saying smart cricket, we didn't look very smart the way we were playing as well. We made really stupid decisions a lot of the time. So, I get what you're saying 100%, and that is one of my biggest criticisms about selecting the captain. I feel like they just go around and pick the most experienced player in the team and decide, okay, cool, you're going to be captain. And if you're scoring runs at the time, it makes it even easier for them to select that person or whatever the case may be. I don't think they actually have a list of what is leadership criteria. What are the certain things that makes a good leader, and then selects a leader accordingly. I think it has a lot to do with experience. We can see in the past as well. As soon as the likes of Graham Smith left, what they did, they hustled around, trying moving from different person to different person, just giving whoever's performing a chance, Hashim Amla, David de Villiers, or whoever, until they landed on Faf. And then they struck it with Faf because Faf had all the characteristics of being a leader since he was in high school already. So they should have identified that out from a young age already. For example, I take a long, hard look at who were the under-19 captains and who performed as a captain and who didn't. Reinhard van Tonder, as a captain for under-19, for example, did a lot of brave things that I felt, you know what, this shows a great, strong mentality. I use the same example over and over again, is when he scored 100 with a broken hand, when the doctor told him not to play and then he had to sit out. That shows characteristics of a captain and a leader. I mean, from that age, at the age of 18 already, that you're making sacrifices like that for your team shows strong leadership qualities. So, and also,
Yeah, exactly. Like even I was listening to Mitchell Stark speaking after the game, and like we were all wondering why the Aussies bowled first, but Mitch Stark was like, "Oh, we wanted to avoid bowling in the 38-degree heat." So it seems like his team knew exactly what he was doing, and like that's what a leader does. You carry along the whole crew, right?
I
And
mean, look at the decision to bat to the decision they took in the second test against England. Like that was like ridiculous. Like the whole world said, "Do this X," and they did Y. So yeah. Mayu, thank you for calling in. We're just going to do a quick reaction of Dean Alga. Please call in again. We'd like to hear your thoughts, bro. Okay, let's listen to this quickly. It's 13 minutes, guys, so just bear with me. Let me know if you want me to stop, guys, and talk about any specific point. I will do so if I do see anything that stands out to me. And also let me know if you can hear the audio, because sometimes these things don't play. So let's see if this works. Can you hear?
Yeah, currently a lot going through the mind, but I think I kind of made peace with it last night. Whether it was today or tomorrow, it was always going to be a tough pill to swallow. But yeah, not a lot of positives. There are a few, but quite a few. The negatives outweigh the positives currently. Yeah, pretty weak performance, I'd say. In conditions which I really felt were pretty, in favour of really good Test cricket. So yeah, pretty disappointed on how things ended up. Whether it was today or tomorrow, I still wanted to see us with a fighting chance going out and still giving the Aussies a bit of a tough time with really taking pride in our wickets. And yeah, the way it unfolded is quite disappointing.
Yeah, but I mean, Dean, you are part of that. So I think he should have come out, baby, and attacked himself first and foremost. Don't you think, guys?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's he's also sounding a bit defeatist.
He's deflecting as
You
well.
know, it's very. It's almost like as if he was, expecting it already the night before. It's an attitude that he may well have been carrying with him from the first day.
That's actually terrible what he said there. Actually, I didn't actually pick it out like you did. He actually said yes. He was expecting us the night before already.
Yeah.
You feed off you feed off your leader as a team, and you know what, the best captains are the ones who lead from the front with their performances. I mean, that's something Graham Smith was particularly good at when batting in the fourth innings, was making runs, making fourth innings hundreds, and in those cases South Africa never lost.
Yeah.
And you certainly don't allow your team to believe that you're going to lose before the game is over.
Yeah.
That's a ridiculous comment, actually. And now that I'm listening to it. Stuart, you want to say anything on that?
All right, so I'll listen a bit and then add.
Okay, cool.
Nokia is the one that obviously jumps out. Carl Verheyen is obviously he's really batted well in this test. So those are obviously the two stand-up performers that I would say are the biggest positives going into the next one. Yeah, a lot more negatives, but I'll keep them to myself for now.
Are you concerned about the future of Test cricket in South Africa? People written about this 28 tests in the next 4-year cycle, the deprioritisation of it, less first-class games. Could this be the start of a spiral which might find very difficult to get out of?
Hopefully that spiral can come to an end come next season, where first-class cricket will be looked after better. I know that is in the plans, that we do potentially have more first-class cricket back home.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a tough one. I've got to bite my tongue here a little bit, but
Why? When you got to bite your tongue?
Well, if I tell you, then it's pretty pointless me biting my tongue, right? I like where you're going with that, but not that stupid. Yeah, it's also scheduling going forward for the next 5 years. I've been going on about it that we need to be playing more Test cricket, and our players at the moment need to be exposed to this level. Even though you take in the hide-ins that we have had in this in the first 2 tests and the England series that we had, our players need to be exposed to that. And unfortunately, we are learning most probably in the most ruthless and brutal way. And I think there are more learnings out of this than going out and playing against a team that's of similar strength and we beat them. So there are a few defining factors that I can still take forward. But yeah, I would still love for our guys to be exposed to more of this, and obviously so that those guys can be fast-tracked in the international arena. But yeah, it is a tough one. Again, I'm not a admin guy. I'm a cricket player. I can only ask for what I feel is right for cricket going forward in South Africa. Yeah, and then the rest is up to those guys to make those decisions.
And you said before, it's going to take courage to succeed here. Have you seen enough of that in the group? Is there enough there to muster something in the final test?
I don't think there has been a lot of it. I think there's been a lot more with the ball in hand. Take away the Gabba result, just purely out of this, the MCG test. I think a lot more character was shown with the ball, even though the Aussies battered us into the ground. I really saw a lot of characters come out in our bowling ranks. Maybe not as much in our batting. I mentioned like Carl, he's maybe the one guy that's put up 2 decent performances in this test. Yeah, it's a tough one to digest currently, but if we did this in 2 days' time, I'm sure I could have given you a lot more feedback.
You see, guys, I'm just going to pause it there and get your thoughts on it. You see, Carl's performances doesn't really surprise me. Like I said, when I look at players, I look at specifics and consistencies over time. So, for example, with Carl, ever since he's played for the Western Province and for the Cobras and for Western Province now, the Blitz, whatever they're called now, for at this moment, that he's always been the type of player that that saves his team from collapses. So when his team is doing poorly or in 100 down for 4, 100 down for 5, wherever he's batting in the lineup, he always tends to get his team over the line and then win the match for his team, or try to put them in a decent position to be able to defend that total. Similarly, so if the team gets a good start, he comes in. The reason for that is the importance of this is not the fact that he's coming in late and then scoring runs. The importance of it is his mindset. The fact that he says to himself that there's no pressure on me because everybody expects me to fail in this moment, and that's why I go out and perform. It tells me that when the pressure's off and he's comfortable and calm, you'll be able to get more consistencies out of him, because he takes the pressure off himself anyway when he's under pressure. He tries to put himself in a positive mentality, saying that everybody expects me to fail, so well, then I can only do better than what everybody expects anyway. But anyway, what's your thoughts on what Dean Alder said there, Kelly, and then Stuart?
Yeah, well, firstly, with Carl, this season, at the start of the season, in the Western Province's first match against the Titans, it was a green pitch with Centurion, and he made 87, I believe.
Yeah,
and he was playing extremely positively, just putting the bad balls away, absorbing pressure. And he also looked to have sorted out some slight technical deficiencies. So he used to be quite vulnerable outside of off at certain points during the innings, even though, guys like it wasn't Corbin Bosch's best day and some of the others were also struggling. But yeah, he's definitely taken things up a notch this season in terms of his his technique, along with the same mentality, and he continues to score positively, even when he comes in at 5 down for nothing. Yeah.
Yeah. For me, it's almost I don't want to say I'm not deserved, but I'm just a bit confused because the guy's been scoring runs domestically, and the guy's had a good mindset. It's almost like he's surprised that Kyle's done so well. but like I'm like thinking to myself, this guy's performed at domestic level. This guy's the type of mentality he's got. Like I'm almost like shock horror. And the other thing that like I was a little bit shocked about earlier was when they asked like who do you think played well. TEMBA hasn't been in the greatest run of form. We all know that. And he's your vice captain, and he's received quite a bit of criticism recently. And I'd have thought that he would have been like, oh, I didn't hear him say it. Maybe I stand to be corrected, but I thought he would have been like, yeah, no, TEMBA played quite well today. Like at least try to build him up a little bit for the third test. So I was a bit shocked at that, but yeah, the whole tone is just sounding a little bit, aside from that, joke, it's sounding a bit defeatist and like a little bit down. And yeah, I mean, Lorenzo's just said in the chat, Carson is another form player. Like, I don't know, like,
that didn't make sense.
Yeah.
That didn't make sense to me that they went with Kyle Zondo and Tennis the Brain over the likes of Heinrich Klaassen. It was
why'd they go with Ratzi, Tennis, or Kai ahead of Klaassen? Because they're all not in as rich a vein of form.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't matter that Klaassen's another keeper or that TEMBA may have to bat 3. He could probably have been accommodated.
Yeah.
But another point, what about Marco Yadin? Didn't say anything about him. I didn't hear him say anything about him. Might have missed it.
Maybe he'll say it a little later. Yeah, I'm shocked that there's certain people that he left out there. Okay, let's continue.
How do you spend the time with the donors? It's been a cumulative effect over quite a period of time now. You've got to go through a turnaround. Learning on the job is really difficult, and taking big downs is hard. How do you turn it around?
Yeah, it's a tough one. Do you have an answer for me?
Oh my God!
I'd like to take that next door and then use that as well. I think you just got to keep going at what you started with when you came here. For me, it's about that positive affirmation that you have to give to the greater group. I'm not going to go away from that because I still feel the guys that we have here are talented cricketers and hardened first-class cricketers, but they obviously just lacking that experience at the test level. You still got to show faith in them, and hopefully that turns things around. As a saying in cricket, you're only one knock away from being back in form, and got to believe that. For me, it's not just a cliche. I think there's a lot of merit in that. So yeah, I think going forward, it's going to be that positive affirmation again. You have to still keep the encouragement and keep reminding the guys that they're not crap cricketers. Let's put it that way.
But they are. Okay, but never mind.
So yeah, going forward, that will be the total approach. Again, you can hit as many balls as you want. It's not going to change as a cricketer. I think the game's 80-20, 80 in the mind, 20% skill. And at the moment now, that applies quite highly for our batting group.
Sorry, guys. I think the question was, how are you going to motivate the guys going forward? What do you think? The guys are going to do going forward? Just switch it off, Khalid. I'm tired of these people. Do you guys want to end it? I'll end it because I mean,
positive. You can't talk about a positive affirmation and then sound like that.
And also, you can't talk about it and then say that the night before you already thought that you're going to lose.
I mean, that's what kind of mixed messages are you sending them?
That's CSA's.
And then the inexperienced thing came out again.
I don't know, guys. Okay, you guys can watch the presser when it's out and leave your comments. I'm not going to still listen to that crap again. guys, all of you guys out there, thank you a lot for tuning in. Kelly, thanks a lot for coming on the show. I hope you're going to come on a lot more shows in the future. Stuart is a regular, so I'm not going to still tell him that he must come on more shows. Thanks a lot.
Thanks very much for having me.
No problem. So to everybody out there, please, if you are new to this channel, please subscribe to the channel, click that notification bell for all future videos as well. It shouldn't be red. That if you're watching this video and your button is red, it shouldn't be, so please click it. Also download the latest issue of Cricket Fanatics magazine monthly. We are working on an SA20 edition that is coming out very, very soon, so please stay tuned and download the latest issue, and all back issues are 100% free as well. It's a free mag, guys. No reason for you not to download it. Literally, it's free, and you'll learn a lot of information from there. We get a lot of exclusive content, behind the scenes talks, etc., about the game in a more chilled type of medium, where it's not like this, where it can be quite highly strung in a way. Also, if you want to help us promote and grow South African cricket, also want to help Cricket Fanatics magazine grow as well, then please get involved with the Patreon account. The link is on the screen as well as in the description. Smash the like, comment, and share, and go to cricketfanaticsmag.com for all your regular daily updates, articles that you want to read up on the game. Our site is doing really well at the moment. We're getting quite a few hits to the website, in the 20,000s, 40,000s, 50,000s. So please, guys, consistently. So please, guys, let's get it up to 100K a month on the website, please. And also, we've hit 3,000 subscribers on our magazine. So thank you, guys, for all the support. We're trying to hit that 4K mark as well, 4K mark on YouTube too. So please help us with that. Thanks a lot for watching, everybody. Thanks, Kelly. Thanks, Stuart, for coming on the show. And I'll see you guys very, very soon. Take care and go sleep well. Peace.
Thanks, guys.